Decades ago stood the An Lac Orphanage, its concrete walls harboring the cries of newborns and sounds of little feet of more than 400 Vietnamese children who were abandoned.
It was war, and they were burning villages, and there's just no way that people could take care of their children.
Betty Tisdale first visited the orphanage close to 50 years ago and returned every year to see her babies and to help Madame Nye, who established the shelter.
I guess I felt so fortunate to be born in this country.
Just before the fall of Saigon in 1975, Betty rushed to Vietnam without a plan, but with a life-or-death passion to evacuate all 400 of the An Lac babies. Only 219 could come home with her, so those older than 10 were left behind to fight in the war. The others arrived at Fort Benning a week later, into the safe and abundant arms of American families.
None of us had even been named yet. When you're picked up off the street, there's no records. Even to this day, I don't have a true birthday.
Jason Robertson says he was around 2.5 years old when he was rescued. He went back to Vietnam for the first time in 2005 and says that's when the planning for this special reunion began.
That's when I was like, man, these others need to know how fortunate we were to get out.
Robertson says this is the largest meeting of An Lac orphans, bringing together for the first time close to 60 of the 219. So many stories to share, from the youngest orphan, 3-week-old Tad Smith, to the oldest, 16-year-old Nuet Balin.
And I was a lot, and you get into that airplane, take that baby, and just sit there and shut up, don't cry, don't say anything, because if I do, I have a chance to go back. I never say goodbye, shut that door. Then my tears began to rolling up.
3 decades later, her tears still flow. The orphans gather to remember Madame Nye, who died 3 years after arriving in the States. She's buried at Park Hill Cemetery in Columbus.
Coming here today just kind of puts everything in perspective for me, that what an amazing person Madame Nye was. To find out who actually took me in as a child, and my mom, my biological mom. Sorry.
The emotional moments continue as the orphans travel to Fort Benning, where they first landed in America 35 years ago on Lawson Airfield, and Wilbur School, now an administrative building where they first stood or crawled.
This is the level where all the cribs were set up on that night when the children arrived.
A lot of baby, a lot of crying. It's the most beautiful thing to have.
Yes, it is.
Thank God every day.
The group also visited the National Infantry Museum, demonstrating where their roots are now firmly planted.
When the day comes and they ask you, how did we happen to come to this country? You can paraphrase it. There were some soldiers once, and they sacrificed so that we would have this opportunity.